Morning, mate.
Talking to that. I'm Malcolm Roberts, and I'm here in Goondiwindi with Sam Coulton, who's the Managing Director of Goondiwindi Cotton, and Dick Sudholz, who's been an irrigating leader in this area. We want to tell you about Pindari Dam. Now, as I understand it, you mentioned this to me last year, you had a capacity in Pindari Dam, which is near Inverell, of about 36,000 megalitres. By raising the dam wall 2 metres, you multiplied the capacity to 312,000 megalitres, almost 9 times.
That's what happened. And it happened back because we had a water shortage back in the 80s. And we did a deal with the New South Wales government. If they built it from 36,000 megalitres to 312,000 megalitres, we would pay half of it back over a period of time.
So you weren't after a handout, you were after a help up, and you would pay for half of it.
Correct, that's what happened. And we budgeted to pay it back on a megalitre basis pumped, and we budgeted to have it paid back in 20 years. We actually paid it back in 16 years.
So the bottom line from that little bit is that the farmers who got the irrigated water, who put forward the project, took the risk, they benefited enormously.
My word, we did. We went from 30% reliability factor for water each year up to 65%.
So that means that...
So we went from growing 30% of our land to 65% of our land each year, which was an enormous pickup in agriculture in town.
And Dick, half the money was paid by the state government, half the money by the farmers. What were the benefits to the region and the state?
Well, what happens is when you get more water, the water is the secret to the irrigation industry. So by getting a much greater reliability of water, which is what occurred when we built the addition to Pindari, that then goes into expanding the irrigation farms, more people being employed on the farms, higher levels of cropping coming out of the farms, and all the machinery and stuff that goes into running the irrigation farms goes through the town, comes from the cities, some of it is imported into Australia, and the product that we're making out of it becomes one of our main export industries. So we're not just turning our community locally into a major centre of activity, but every time we grow a bag of wheat or a bale of cotton or something else, anything that makes bread or makes fruit, it goes somewhere and it doesn't stay here. The money comes back in to run the farms, the employment and the expansion of our Australian regional areas. But the people who exist on that are up and down the whole country, including the cities and everywhere else, because half our export income comes from the rural industries.
And so when the farmers can increase their cropping area from 30% before Pindari to over 65% after Pindari, it means the communities have less fluctuation in their employment. It means much more stability and security.
It makes a big difference to irrigation is just another industry, but it happens to run on water more than anything else that we've got. So if you increase the reliability of it, the profitability increases or gets to be profitable, and that immediately transfers into major improvements in everything surrounding it and everywhere where we export it, because a lot of it's exported and the rest of it we eat and wear it ourselves.
And the whole country.
And so a whole country benefits.
So if you achieve that for the state, for the region and for the farmers, with just an increase from 36 to 312,000 megalitres, shouldn't we be talking openly about damming the upper tributaries of the Clarence River and moving some of that water into the southern part of Queensland, the Condamine and the northern part of New South Wales?
Oh my word, it should happen. I mean, it would lift it would give us another $1 billion worth of income each year into southern Queensland and northern New South Wales.
I reckon you're conservative on that. I reckon it'll be more than that.
My word. But that's
The water in that we're from the rain up and down our highland, our river, our mountains and all those areas where all these creeks and rivers start, and where the Pindari Dam was built, that's where it was in the right place. And if we had them built the same in probably 20 or 30 different areas, we are providing a massive support and increase in our productivity, because the irrigation industry and farming is almost totally dependent on the water. So if we double the quantity of water, we more than double how much we produce. And the figure is really quite alarming if you find out how much you can make from building another dam.
And something you mentioned last time, Sam, you mentioned that when we have greater storage off farms, like in dams, you know, in the upper reaches of the rivers, then you have less need for storage on the farm,
Correct.
which increases the croppable land
That's
on the
right.
farm,
That's right.
and it reduces the evaporation because you've got a deep water storage instead of a shallow water
That's
storage.
right. Up in
So
that
you're making better use of
country.
water.
My word.
We should be doing
Anyway,
this.
oh, you should be doing it easily.
There you go.
It can be done easily. It can be financed by the farmers. It's something that the Australia is crying out for.
Thank you. All right, we'll just stop that. I don't think there's a need to do that again, is there?
What do we